Yo, it's Guido coming at you with the Tactics Talk. On this episode, I have a battle from two different sides. I got Porani, who sent me this in after he realized that I was on the other team. Actually, he realized it during battle. I did not know that until he sent it to me. But he's in his IS-7 Tier 10 Russian tank on top of a 357. On steps in an encounter mode, he's gone over to the west side, and looks like both teams are going to invest pretty heavily on the west side, and there's a little skirmish over on the east. And we will see what happens when Porani goes up against me and Silver, I believe it is. Takes a hit going on in there. And there's that Guido guy and his Object 705 on the other side. Takes a heat shot from Silver. Gold spammer, you loser. And we've got T-34. So Porani's looking over here. I don't like this side very much because it's so vulnerable to artillery. That's one of the reasons I don't really go over here initially. I try to fight on the other side and push in. Looks like Porani's T-10 has got aggressive. That's going to go poorly for him. Because we invested so heavily over here, his team's going to be in a bit of trouble. He's got an E-75 hanging back, a low hanging back, and quite a few tanks up here. Both his T-10s have been chewed up pretty well. Fairly lightly armored for what they're facing. Good tanks, but in a face-punching fight at that range, probably a little bit overmatched by the amount of armor that we have on our tanks, especially considering the ST-1 and the 705 right there. But they've got Porani in his Tier 10, and you'll see that I don't even know where is our mouse. Where did our mouse go? I have no idea. Is the mouse here? Here, mouse. Don't know. A couple 257s on my team, on the other team over there, so really a little bit light for Porani. Same kind of guns and firepower, really, but his armor is a bit lacking. Plus, we have a couple more tanks. Their E-75 is buggering off. He runs away. The Centurion doesn't show up to the critical terrain. There's that Guido guy. Trying to get into the lower plate of the 705. I did have a bit of an angle right there. Porani, I think, in this case, I'd have just dabbed 2 and shot as many of my 2s as possible. Try to reduce the hit points on these guys as much as I can. Stunned, so that makes your shot a little harder to make happen, and now you're just completely outnumbered. We've beat up your friends, killed them off, and you're down to the last few. When he sent this back to me, he said he wanted to make sure he got at least one shot into me. There's one. I think he actually gets another one. Takes a shot from the ST-1. I'm going to face hug him. You see me come in there. Try to make it a little more difficult for him. Not exactly sure what he's going for. There he goes. Shoots into my upper plate. Can't quite get to the lower plate. And then down he goes. He's just completely overmatched by all of those guys. Oh, there's our mouse. Our mouse went to the cap. Excuse me. And that is the battle from Porani's side. Over here on the what I actually consider to be the critical terrain on this map. I think common wisdom says if you could take everybody to the cap and then set up a screen and beat up whatever eventually comes over, kill what's there first, and then take on the guys as they cross all this open terrain. I just don't find that working in pubs well enough. There's not enough coordination, and so I understand that's probably not a bad organized strat for this map. I think in pubs, really, if you can get over here and win this, if they don't send much, win it quickly and get moving, obviously. If they send a lot, then it's strength against strength. If you win it, then you probably win the game. So I just really find this side of the map, even on encounter, to be the most critical on a pub match. I'm sure there's going to be people that disagree with me, and I do understand why they would say that. But Porani's team sent a fairly strong force, just got outplayed over there, and we're able to kill them and move on. We're about to kill off that low, and then we'll move in through those guys. So let's look at this fight over here from my standpoint. Alright, so for the same battle, you can see that I have spawned down the south side, and Silver and I are going to head up here. These guys are crossing. If you're going to cross here, just do it. Don't stop. Keep on trucking. Unfortunately, I got a bit of a slower tank in front of me, so I've got to kind of push the prototype. What I don't want to do is push him into the enemy here, so I'm trying to get around him, because what I want to do is gain this rock. Because the 705 is such a side scraping machine, I'm just going to shoot on the run and take this spot. You do have to watch out for artillery. That is a problem right here, depending on where they set up. Guy takes a shot, get kind of lucky, then doesn't hit me, and now I'm just going to start working the side scrape ability of the 705, which is pretty fantastic, and this is one of the best spots on the maps around, especially because it's at critical terrain and it's able to control the outside of this little area right here, end up bouncing that one. You'll see that the Tiger II and Silver are working the inside, but I am a threat to them if they go too far outside to get shots on those guys. Then I can start taking shots on them from here. Wanted to hit the KV4, but the T10 gets in the way, so that's fine. Shave some more hit points off of him. You can see then that Pirani's team has moved up there, and they're all stacked up, but they're just having a heck of a time because we have all the cover right here. And now we're starting to fold in around them, and that's the danger of sitting on the back end, from my standpoint anyway, as far as what I'm looking at, the back end of these rocks. If you don't get up to where the Tiger II is or the ST1 is, from Pirani's side, you have a lot of trouble getting up in there because we have all the ability to cover while getting a flank on them. You see the 257s are working on the right side, the T-34, the Proto. That's just giving them all kinds of trouble, and they're unable to isolate really where the threat's coming from. There's that armor on the 705. You saw that shot from Pirani's standpoint. He was stunned at that point, so I think it went into my upper plate. It's going to end up hurting him. There, the T10 gets a piece of me, but I'm able to take him down. And at this point, I'm talking to Silver. There's only 2 of them plus the low. I'm just going to push into them right here and get their turrets turned around. This is a critical skill that if you are new to this game or an intermediate player that you need to start learning how to use. We could sit there and poke back and forth on these guys, and with it being an IS-7 and then a hold down low back there, they could easily shave off some more hit points. And if we're not careful, turn it into a more winning situation. The Prototype is hurt, the 5.7 is full, the Tiger II and Silver, both he and I have a couple hit points taken off of us. But if we goof around too much, between Artie, a hold down low, a hold down IS-7, and that KV4 holding the other side over there, if we don't get in amongst them and just clean these guys up, we could potentially lose this over here. At the very least, we could lose a lot more hit points than we otherwise would. So I'm just going to push in on this IS-7. The reason I am going to go ahead and cut right here and do this is I'm going to isolate my threat to the low. If he wants me, he's got to uncover and come out from under there. That did accept a shot into the side from Pirani. And I'm trying to be a bit of a multitasker here. Unfortunately, I shoot a guy that's already dead. I was trying to beat Silver to the kill. But I'm not able to right there. And that cost me 2 hits. Probably didn't need to cost me 2 hits, but I ended up doing it being a little over-aggressive as far as trying to shoot somebody while face-hugging another. So I'll just try to get my hit points off the low as I go by. Again, this is the same idea. I'm just going by him, so he has to fight more than one axis. I'm just trying to get the kill before Silver does right there. And that is about all the damage I'm able to do right there, 3,334. I get Artie to, no, that's not true. I get another shot on the side of the E75, so it ends up being 38 or so. And then I get Artie a couple times out in the middle. But you can see that we had plenty over here to deal with this. The main fight ended up being here. The E75 really hurt them leaving, and the Centurion was just wandering around doing a whole lot of nothing. Yeah, he's into the artillery. Who cares? He was neither here helping these guys, nor he was over here helping these guys as a tier 10. So there's an example of a battle from 2 different sides. You can kind of see really how, from those 2 sides, how it was won and how it was lost. Both teams tried to get into that critical terrain, but one of them was happy to sit behind these rocks right here. And without realizing that, then there was flanking opportunities. And without somebody back here, maybe that E75, keeping our team honest from poking around, that really hurt them. They just all stacked up here, and because they weren't aggressive, trying to flood around the sides, take one side or the other, move around guys like we did endgame, they just got picked apart slowly but surely. Also, Artie was over here, I think, was lobbing into the side of him here. It was just really was a bad situation for them overall, so it's a really good opportunity to kind of look at a critical piece of terrain and how it's won or lost based on how 2 teams dealt with it right there in the same exact game. All right, guys, hope you liked what you saw. Hope you learned something. If you did, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and we will see you.